When someone is the spouse of a successful person, there is too much attention on her and she is considered to be lucky. Her own achievements are relegated to the background. Michelle Obama talks about this in her book, Becoming. After a point she was constantly addressed as Mrs. Obama, which was not her identity. Her own identity was on the verge of disappearing. In the same way, when we talk about Sudha Murty, though she was initially known as Narayana Murthy wife, she created a following for herself after a point. When I was thinking about what to buy for my sister's child, I wanted her to start reading, but I didn't know whose book I should buy. The first book that I brought her was Sudha Murty's book. The one author's book which I always recommend to make children read is Sudha Murty's book. We have already reviewed one of her books in our book show. Just like my Rough Note series, this is Sudha Murty's Rough Note series. The book talks about her college days, the people she met, her associations for charity on behalf of Infosys. All of this is there in this book. Oprah Winfrey had quoted that people often came to her because she had money and asked her for favors, but she had very little idea about whom to help. So, she started a foundation of her own, which helped her choose the people she wanted to help. Now she wasn't helping everyone who came to her doorstep, because it took her time to understand if the requirement was genuine. Sudha Murty's 3000 Stitches talks about her journey. Let's look into it. First, the justification for this title is, we now see Sudha Murty as a mature lady, but when she was young, she wanted to educate Devadasi women and create awareness about AIDS among them. And if they give up prostitution, it would be good for them. So, Sudha wanted to help them. But when she approached a group of Devadasis, they were rude to her because the ones who came before Sudha also wanted to interview them and write about them. The Devadasi women would not have come across people who were genuinely interested in their lives. Such people were very few, so the Devadasi women had less hope. They threw slippers and other things on Sudha. Sudha had wept about this. She had told her dad that though she wanted to help the Devadasi women were not accepting it. So, she didn't know how to help. Sudha's dad tells her that she has to earn their trust. Starting off immediately with AIDS disease is too intruding. So the women won't listen. If at least a few of them come out of Devadasi practice, her father would be very proud. Sudha needed to be confident and go as one of them, as one of their own. Wearing a sari or chudidar instead of jeans would be good. She needed to be approachable for them to talk to her. Her dad accompanied her this time. He made them understand that Sudha was there to help them by educating their kids. He gradually gained their trust after saying this. This helped Sudha bring the women out of the Devadasi system. The book talks about how alcoholics get help from Alcoholics Anonymous. One alcohol addict who turned sober talks about his experience. A short time later, we left for the temple. While driving, my tongue touched my skin briefly and it tasted of the aftershave lotion. I kept licking it, and by the time we reached the temple, I was craving for a drink. I dropped my parents, went to the closest bar and stayed there for 4 hours. Unaware of my actions, my poor parents performed the puja for me at the temple, waited for me, then took an auto rickshaw and went back home. That was my turning point. It was the day I realized that I couldn't live without booze. So I came to R and they helped me vocalize what I was. It was here that I found other people like me. And I was glad that I wasn't alone in this. Our slogan is, I can't, we can. These Devadasi women who were helped by Sudha wanted to open a bank. So, Sudha used her contacts and guided them to open a bank with just one condition: the control of the account had to be with the former Devadasis. Almost 3000 Devadasi women were out of the Devadasi system. When the change happened, Sudha was very happy, because she had sowed the seeds of change. Her father's push was very important. When our parents narrate anecdotes from their lives, there is an emotional connect as we also have the same DNA. This helps to empathize. Sudha's dad was a junior medical doctor. He was posted in Maharashtra-Karnataka border. It was a deserted area, so no patients would come there. But one fine day, a group of people knocked the door at night saying a woman needed help with pregnancy. But he didn't know the procedure to take care of pregnancy. He was just a junior medical doctor and not a gynecologist. But the people insisted. It was not a woman but a small girl who was pregnant. The doctor is alone with the girl now along with an old woman. The girl says that she was studying in college and got accidentally pregnant. She pleads with the doctor to kill her instead of helping her deliver the baby. The doctor says that he has no right to take a life, and that he is there to save her. He helps in the delivery and a girl child is born. He asks the girl to escape from there and go to another place where the doctor's friends would help her to become a nurse. He tells her to not kill herself and her child and comes out. The people outside threatened the doctor and paid him for the operation. He finds an excuse and goes back inside, gives the money to the girl and asks her to escape. He feels bad about the lack of male gynecologists and feels that he should have become one. In 1943, male gynecologists were unheard of, so he wanted to become one. But he didn't have funds. He gets married and life goes on. But at the age of 42, he studies gynecology in Chennai Egmore. Then he practices it professionally. Once he visits a medical college and sees someone making a presentation. She is a lady doctor and he is talking to her. A person calls out to him as RH. Upon hearing that, she inquires further about him and takes him to a place. It was a nursing home. The lady doctor then proceeds to talk to the elderly woman over there and asks her if he was the one she was looking for. He doesn't understand anything. The girl whom he helped deliver a baby years ago had raised a daughter who became a gynecologist. He was overwhelmed. The girl who became a gynecologist had actually started the RH nursing home as a token of gratitude. RH had actually helped a girl deliver a baby when she wanted to die. He wasn't even a gynecologist at that time. The woman tells him that though he has become a gynecologist now, she was the first woman whom he helped deliver a baby. It was all destiny. Such positive stories of our parents always influence us. Even my dad narrated a positive story to me. My dad had come across a young man on the train. He hadn't brought a ticket and the ticket collector was coming. He had told my dad that had eloped from home to escape from his stepmom's torture. He had no money to buy the ticket. So, he had to go somewhere to escape from the ticket collector. So, my dad gave him money and advised the young man who was in his second year that one more year of studies would make him a graduate and help him get a job. The young man could go elsewhere or back to his hometown. My dad gave him money and also our address for him to contact. Years later, my dad received a thank you letter from the young man who was well settled in a job. This always makes me believe that even a small deed could lead to a big change. Such impactful changes made by our parents in the lives of others makes us feel proud. Sudha Murty also had a similar push upon hearing her dad's story. She was also the only female engineering student in the whole college. The college didn't even have a toilet for women as there were no women students. She wanted to take up engineering, which was predominantly male-dominated. Her dad supported her. She was firm about not taking the college-related problems to her home as she was the only girl in the campus. She talks about how facing her own problems all by herself during college helped her in the latter stages when she stepped into the IT industry. Again, it is an industry dominated by men. Her earlier experience helped her navigate smoothly despite the presence of men. She took a vow to outperform her male counterparts in college. The boys used to mock her in the beginning. But in the latter stages, they would come to her if they had any doubts. She wanted to outperform her male counterparts and to prove to them and to herself that she was the best. This book contains her journey. The narrative that women need men in their lives to safeguard them is slowly changing. A woman, besides taking care of herself, will be able to take care of a lot of people for her cause. Sudha is one such woman. If you want to buy and read this book, the link is in the description. The Devadasi women, after the growth of their bank, a tapestry-like thing made of cloth was gifted to them. It was an artwork which had 3000 stitches. It was special to them and hence the title of this book. That was their best gift ever. I completed this book in just 3 hours. You can also finish it in 3 hours as the vocabulary is very simple. As it is written keeping the little ones in mind, it can be read by anyone. The new word I learned from this book is livid, which means being furious. The term is also used to indicate bruises. If you want to buy and read this book, the link is in the description.